stumbling across an old, weathered cookbook passed down through generations, filled with preservation techniques from a time before refrigeration was even a thought. I once found myself flipping through such a book, each page a window into a world where people depended on nature and ingenuity to store food for the winter months. This way of life still thrives within the Amish community, where tradition and resourcefulness go hand in hand. They have not only preserved food, but have preserved an entire way of thinking, one that respects nature's pace and prioritizes self-reliance. So how do they manage to keep eggs fresh even for months on end without ever needing a refrigerator? Today, we are diving into the practical methods the Amish use to preserve eggs, some of which you could even try at home. These techniques may seem like something out of history, but they are very practical, natural, and still used today by those who prefer to live off the grid. Understanding why eggs spoil and what makes them so delicate when it comes to storage is paramount, just like learning about the techniques. Egg preservation is about protecting the egg from outside contaminants and maintaining its internal balance. Eggs contain a nutrient-rich environment perfect for bacteria, though they also come with their natural barriers. The key is to preserve these barriers and prevent the elements that lead to spoilage. Eggs spoil primarily due to two factors: bacteria and moisture loss. Each of the preservation methods we will discuss essentially aims to reinforce the egg's natural defenses by creating an external barrier or altering the egg's environment to inhibit bacterial growth. Reducing moisture loss, preventing bacteria from entering, or changing the egg's internal pH or oxygen levels, these methods slow the process of spoilage and extend the life of the egg significantly. With this basic understanding of the science behind egg spoilage, we can see why the preservation techniques practiced by the Amish are so effective, even without refrigeration. Now, let's dive into those techniques and how each one uniquely tackles the issue of spoilage. Water glassing, an ancient and highly effective preservation technique, is widely used by the Amish to keep eggs fresh for several months. This method uses a simple solution of hydrated lime, also known as pickling lime or calcium hydroxide, to create a safe environment where eggs can retain their freshness for an extended period. The secret lies in the natural bloom or protective coating on fresh eggs, which, combined with the lime solution, effectively blocks bacteria and slows down spoilage. The Amish begin by preparing a water glassing solution, typically mixing an ounce of food-grade hydrated lime with a quart of clean water. The lime fully dissolves to create a liquid that will submerge and seal each egg. They use clean, non-reactive containers like glass jars, ceramic crocks, or food-safe plastic buckets to avoid chemical reactions that might affect egg quality. Once the solution is ready, they gently place fresh, unwashed eggs into the lime water, ensuring the eggs are completely submerged and covered by at least an inch of liquid. Amish families take particular care in choosing unwashed eggs, as washing can remove the bloom, increasing the chance of contamination. They also inspect the eggs carefully for cracks before submerging them, since a cracked egg could spoil the entire batch. The container is then stored in a cool, dark place such as a cellar or pantry, where stable temperatures help extend the preservation period. Water glassing requires minimal ingredients and effort, yet it effectively maintains the egg's taste, texture, and nutritional value over time. This method has a rich history, dating back centuries and becoming especially popular during the Great Depression, when food preservation was crucial for many households. For Amish families, water glassing is ideal during colder months when hens lay fewer eggs, as it ensures a reliable supply even during winter. They periodically check the eggs for any signs of spoilage, such as an off smell or a change in texture, and regularly refresh the lime solution to maintain its effectiveness. Oiling. Water glassing is a gentle, low-maintenance preservation method. The Amish have other unique techniques, including the use of a simple household ingredient, mineral oil. This method, known as oiling, coats each egg in a thin layer of oil, sealing the pores to retain the egg's natural moisture. By mimicking the egg's natural bloom, a protective coating that seals the shell, mineral oil helps create an airtight barrier, which can significantly slow down spoilage. The process begins with Amish families selecting clean, unwashed eggs. They slightly warm the mineral oil to about 70-75 def to ensure smooth application, then carefully coat each egg with a soft cloth or brush, creating a uniform layer over the shell. The oil creates an invisible seal, effectively blocking bacteria from entering the eggshell. Once oiled, they store the eggs small down in cartons or trays in a cool, dark place, such as a cellar or pantry, where stable temperatures help extend shelf life. To maximize freshness, they also reapply a thin layer of oil every few weeks, reinforcing the barrier to keep out air and bacteria. Oiling is straightforward and ideal for small batches, as it requires minimal setup and no special containers. It is also affordable and quick, making it a preferred choice for Amish families aiming to preserve their eggs efficiently. Since it requires only food-grade mineral oil, there are no complex storage solutions involved. Amish families take specific care to use only food-safe, non-toxic mineral oil to prevent contamination. They handle eggs gently to avoid any cracking, as even a minor crack can expose the egg to bacteria, undermining the preservation efforts. They often label the eggs with the oiling date, storing them in a first-in, first-out manner to avoid any eggs going to waste. Additionally, they keep these eggs out of direct sunlight, as heat exposure can degrade the oil and speed up deterioration. Historically, oiling was a popular method in the early 1900s, particularly among rural homesteaders who sought ways to preserve food without relying on electricity. Today, some homesteaders and Amish families continue to use oiling as a reliable, sustainable preservation technique, offering a way to keep eggs fresh for months without refrigeration. Pickling. Oiling offers a practical preservation method. The Amish have also mastered the art of pickling eggs, which not only extends shelf life but adds a distinctive, tangy flavor. Pickling eggs is a time-honored tradition that involves submerging hard-boiled eggs in a brine made of vinegar, salt, and spices. This method was widely practiced in Europe and North America, as it allowed people to store a nutritious protein source at room temperature for long periods, and pickled eggs became a staple snack. The Amish start by carefully boiling the eggs until they are fully hard-cooked, ensuring the yolks are firm. Once cooled, the eggs are peeled and placed into sterilized glass jars to prevent contamination. Next, they prepare a brine solution, mixing vinegar, water, salt, and spices, often peppercorns, mustard seeds, and garlic, adding both flavor and preservative qualities. The Amish bring the brine to a boil, which helps dissolve the salt and intensifies the flavors, before pouring it over the eggs in the jars. Once filled, the jars are sealed tightly and left to cool, allowing the flavors to develop as the eggs marinate. The Amish appreciate pickling not only for preservation but for the unique taste it adds. A batch of pickled eggs can last for several weeks when stored in a cool, dark place, making them a perfect grab-and-go snack or a flavorful addition to dishes like salads and sandwiches. Pickling also offers flexibility in seasoning, so each family can tailor the brine to their preference, creating signature flavors that may include a hint of sweetness, spiciness, or smokiness. To ensure successful preservation, Amish families are very cautious about quality control. They avoid any eggs with cracks, as these could let in bacteria, undermining the preservation process. They also ensure the eggs remain fully submerged in the brine, as exposure to air can increase the risk of spoilage. If storing pickled eggs for an extended time, the Amish carefully monitor for signs of spoilage, such as discoloration or an off odor. Interestingly, pickled eggs were a popular snack in English pubs during the 1800s, prized for their long shelf life and ability to pair well with a pint of beer. This historical connection reflects how preserving food with vinegar has provided not just a practical solution but a culinary tradition that resonates across generations, including the Amish who continue to carry it forward. Salt packing. If pickling feels a bit too tangy, salt packing is a classic alternative that uses natural ingredients to create a barrier against bacteria and spoilage. This ancient technique relies on salt's moisture-absorbing properties to preserve eggs in a simple, effective way. Salt packing has long been used to preserve a variety of foods like fish and meats, making it a versatile choice within the Amish community. In salt packing, the Amish carefully select fresh, unwashed eggs. Keeping them unwashed is crucial, because washing removes the egg's natural coating, which already offers a layer of protection. Each egg is nestled into a container filled with coarse, non-iodized salt, completely burying it to ensure full coverage. This salt packing process is designed to draw moisture out of the egg and prevent the growth of bacteria, making it an ideal method for long-term preservation. Once packed, the Amish store the container in a cool, dry location, such as a root cellar or pantry. These storage conditions are essential. Any exposure to moisture could dampen the salt, reducing its effectiveness. Over time, the salt absorbs any extra moisture around the eggs, preventing spoilage. Amish families regularly inspect the container to ensure the salt remains dry and that there are no cracks in the eggs. Any egg that shows signs of cracking is immediately removed, as it could compromise the rest of the batch. This method can keep eggs fresh for several months, particularly when maintained in optimal, dry conditions. Unlike more modern preservation techniques, salt packing is fully natural and requires no special equipment or refrigeration, allowing Amish families to rely on basic resources. The choice of coarse, non-iodized salt is intentional. Non-iodized salt prevents any potential taste alterations, ensuring the eggs retain their natural flavor. The tradition of salt packing ties back to centuries-old practices, reflecting the Amish's commitment to sustainability and simplicity. Salt has long been valued for its desiccant qualities, and this method requires nothing more than salt, eggs, and a well-chosen storage space. This straightforward technique aligns with the Amish values of resourcefulness and efficiency, creating a reliable way to store eggs through the winter without modern amenities. Baking in lime. Salt packing might be effective, but for Amish families seeking an alternative with a slightly different process, there is baking in lime or liming. This time-tested preservation method combines the protective qualities of salt with the unique benefits of lime's alkaline properties, creating a barrier that is proven to keep eggs fresh for months. Liming works similarly to water glassing, but instead of immersing the eggs in a liquid solution, the process involves a dry coating that simplifies handling and storage. Amish families employ this technique to preserve their eggs through winter months, a period when fresh eggs may be harder to come by due to the reduced laying cycle of hens. The process begins with careful egg selection. Amish families often use fresh, unwashed eggs straight from the farm. Unwashed eggs retain a natural protective layer called the cuticle or bloom, which helps prevent bacteria from entering through the shell. Any cracks or visible flaws are carefully inspected, as cracked eggs will not keep as long, potentially contaminating other eggs in storage. Once the eggs are selected, Amish families create a lime paste by mixing food-grade hydrated lime with enough water to reach a consistency that is easy to spread. This paste is then applied to each egg by hand, covering the entire shell. The eggs are left to dry, during which the lime coating hardens to form a durable outer layer. This layer acts as an additional barrier, sealing the egg shell and effectively preventing bacteria, air, and moisture from reaching the interior. The Amish then store these lime-coated eggs in a cool, dark environment, typically in a root cellar or a dedicated storage area. The lime coating's dryness makes it a convenient method for managing stored eggs without needing containers of water or other liquid. Eggs preserved this way can last anywhere from a few months up to a year if stored in the right conditions. The flavor and quality remain unaffected, allowing Amish families to rely on fresh-tasting eggs even during the coldest months of the year. Lime baking, as practiced by the Amish, is an ancient method with historical roots extending back to regions where lime was readily accessible, such as southern Europe. Communities in these areas used lime to preserve eggs for long voyages or transportation periods, recognizing it as a sustainable and accessible solution to prevent food waste. This technique reflects the Amish commitment to self-sufficiency and sustainability, allowing them to store eggs in a way that does not rely on refrigeration or modern preservatives. It is a skill passed down through generations, valued for its simplicity and effectiveness in creating a reliable winter food source. The Amish also take care to use only food-grade lime and avoid commercial cleaning or sanitizing agents on the eggs, ensuring the preservation process remains both natural and safe. Coating with lard or butter. When Amish families want to preserve eggs while keeping their texture and flavor close to fresh, coating them in lard or butter is a practical choice. This traditional technique is simple but effective, creating an airtight seal around the eggshell that reduces moisture loss and minimizes exposure to air, slowing spoilage naturally. In rural Amish communities where fresh lard or butter is commonly available, this method fits seamlessly into their resourceful, self-sustaining lifestyle. The process begins with fresh, unwashed eggs, chosen to retain their natural bloom, which offers additional protection against bacteria. Amish families carefully coat each egg in a thin, even layer of melted lard or softened butter, ensuring every part of the shell is covered to maintain a consistent seal. Once coated, they place the small eggs down in cartons or baskets and store them in a cool, dark pantry or cellar where stable temperatures further extend freshness. Over time, if the coating begins to thin or wear off, they reapply another layer, ensuring the eggs are always well sealed. Using lard or butter for preservation requires no added chemicals, making it a simple, natural method that can keep eggs fresh for several months. Amish families often prefer using high-quality, fresh lard or butter to avoid introducing any unwanted bacteria. They handle each egg with care, as any cracks in the shell or coating could allow air and bacteria to penetrate, reducing the egg's longevity. To monitor for potential spoilage, they may occasionally inspect the eggs or gently shake them, checking for unusual odors or signs of change. Historically, lard-coated eggs were widely used among American pioneers and settlers who needed to preserve resources in the absence of refrigeration. In European kitchens, butter-coated eggs were equally popular, with butter acting as a natural sealant that could even lend a mild, pleasant flavor to the eggs over time. Today, this method remains a testament to the Amish commitment to traditional and sustainable practices. Using wood ash. Moving from buttery coatings to a more earthy solution, the Amish have yet another preservation trick up their sleeves, using wood ash. This common technique in households with wood-burning stoves or fireplaces utilizes the alkaline properties of wood ash, typically from untreated hardwoods, to create an environment that hinders bacterial growth, extending the egg's freshness. The process begins with Amish families gathering fresh, unwashed eggs and carefully layering them in a container filled with clean, sifted wood ash. They place the eggs one by one, ensuring each is fully covered, then add more ash between layers until the eggs are completely submerged. The container is then placed in a cool, dry area like a root cellar, where stable, cool temperatures further preserve the eggs. This method requires only occasional monitoring, mainly to ensure the ash remains dry and that no eggs have cracked or become exposed, as cracks can lead to spoilage. Using wood ash is a cost-effective, low-maintenance preservation method ideal for Amish households who often have access to a steady supply of ash from heating. Eggs preserved this way can last several months, providing a reliable food source through the winter with minimal effort or additional materials. The Amish follow specific guidelines to ensure the best results. Only ash from untreated hardwoods is used, as treated wood or softwood ashes may contain residues that could harm the eggs. They handle the eggs gently to prevent cracks, as a single crack can spoil the entire storage batch. Regular checks help maintain quality, allowing any compromised eggs to be removed. Historically, wood ash preservation was common among pioneers and homesteaders who relied on every available resource to survive harsh winters. This age-old technique reflects the Amish dedication to sustainable and practical methods, preserving food using what nature and daily life provide. When it comes to preserving eggs without modern technology, a few extra tips can make all the difference. Each technique, whether it is water glassing, coating with lard, or using salt, has its nuances to ensure success and avoid spoilage. The Amish, who are known for relying on time-tested methods, approach egg preservation with careful attention to these details. One of the most crucial elements across all preservation techniques is starting with fresh, unwashed eggs. The natural coating or bloom on an eggshell seals out bacteria, providing a first line of defense against spoilage. This protective layer is removed by washing, so Amish families make sure the eggs remain unwashed until they are ready to be eaten. The bloom helps to naturally extend an egg's shelf life, regardless of the preservation method used. For techniques like water glassing, baking in lime, or even salt packing, a cool, dark storage location is essential. Amish families often use root cellars, which are dug into the earth to maintain naturally cool and stable temperatures year-round. This controlled environment is critical, as exposure to light, heat, and fluctuating temperatures can compromise the freshness of preserved eggs, leading to spoilage. Storing eggs in a root cellar or cool pantry, the Amish replicate ideal conditions for long-term food storage without refrigeration. When using oil, lard, or butter for preservation, the Amish make sure each egg is fully coated with no gaps in the coverage. A complete coating creates an airtight seal around the eggshell, which helps lock in moisture and prevent air from entering. For oiling, the Amish may reapply a fresh layer of oil every few weeks to ensure the seal remains strong, as even small cracks or areas without coating can allow bacteria in, shortening the egg's shelf life. Water glassing is particularly effective but requires precise measurements. The Amish follow traditional ratios when mixing hydrated lime with water, typically 1 ounce of lime per quart of water, to create the ideal environment. Too much lime can make the solution too alkaline, while too little may not fully protect the eggs. By using the correct measurements, they ensure a stable solution that maximizes freshness and reduces the risk of spoilage. If pickling is the chosen method, Amish families prioritize cleanliness and care to avoid contamination. They sterilize jars thoroughly and use boiled brine, which creates a hostile environment for bacteria. Practicing cleanliness at every step, they further extend the shelf life of their preserved eggs and reduce the chance of spoilage. For long-term storage, the Amish often practice a rotation system, using the oldest preserved eggs first to ensure nothing spoils from sitting too long. Regular checks for cracks, off smells, or discoloration help them quickly identify any eggs that may have started to spoil, allowing them to remove compromised eggs before they affect others. A careful eye and a steady hand are essential to maintaining a high-quality egg supply that remains fresh for months. Beyond egg preservation, root cellars play a central role in the Amish approach to food storage. These underground storage areas not only hold eggs but also vegetables, canned goods, and other perishables through the winter. The naturally stable and cool temperatures make root cellars perfect for seasonal preservation, reducing the need for modern refrigeration. Combining techniques like lime water preservation with root cellars, Amish families can effectively store eggs and other perishables, showcasing their resourcefulness and dedication to traditional practices. Using these thoughtful steps, the Amish ensure their eggs remain fresh and safe for as long as possible, embodying a philosophy of sustainability, careful resource management, and respect for natural processes. With these tips in mind, it is easy to see how much care goes into each preservation method. Beyond just keeping food fresh, these traditional methods offer unique benefits that extend beyond practicality. For the Amish, traditional egg preservation is more than a means to extend shelf life. It embodies a lifestyle rooted in sustainability, self-reliance, and resource stewardship. These time-honored methods, practiced without electricity, align with Amish values of simplicity and respect for nature, minimizing their dependence on modern conveniences and conserving energy while deepening their connection to the land. The Amish way of life relies on adaptability, with preservation techniques like water glassing, oiling, and salt packing ensuring food stability during long winters or periods of scarcity. Using these methods, Amish families maintain a consistent food supply and avoid frequent trips to the store, embodying a preparedness that has long been essential for seasonal living. Sustainability is inherent in these methods, which utilize natural, eco-friendly materials such as lime, lard, ash, and salt to safely preserve eggs without artificial preservatives. This natural approach not only reduces waste but also aligns with today's movement toward low-impact living. Traditional preservation techniques foster a closer relationship with food and reduce reliance on external resources, creating a self-sufficient food system that respects the environment. Preserving eggs without refrigeration is not only practical but also helps retain their nutritional value. Techniques like water glassing, when done carefully, allow eggs to remain fresh for months without losing key nutrients, bridging gaps in seasonal egg production for Amish families who often experience limited resources during colder months. In some cases, preservation techniques such as pickling may even add nutritional benefits, as acidic brines can enhance the bioavailability of certain vitamins and minerals. Amish communities prioritize frugality and efficiency in every aspect of daily life, and their egg preservation practices are no exception. Using low-cost, accessible materials like wood ash, salt, and natural oils, these methods are inexpensive and sustainable. Surplus eggs are seen as opportunities to prepare for leaner times, embodying the Amish principles of minimalism and efficiency by reducing food waste and creating reserves for the future. Egg preservation techniques are passed down through generations, each family honing methods that reflect the values of hard work, resourcefulness, and community knowledge. These practices not only preserve food but also strengthen ties to ancestral wisdom, allowing Amish families to live in harmony with natural cycles. Egg preservation is more than a culinary process for the Amish. It is a cultural practice that celebrates simplicity, respect for nature, and a life balanced by the seasons. Safety is paramount in these preservation practices. Amish families carefully select unwashed eggs, preserving their natural protective bloom, and handle each egg delicately to prevent contamination. Regular checks for spoilage and cracks ensure that their preserved eggs remain safe and fresh for extended periods. Mastering these natural sealing techniques, the Amish create a self-sustaining food system that aligns with their values, securing both safety and quality through a thoughtful, natural approach. Through these techniques, the Amish demonstrate a commitment to living sustainably, preserving not only their food but also their way of life, deeply intertwined with respect for the land and community traditions. So there you have it, a fascinating glimpse into the art of Amish egg preservation techniques that have stood the test of time. These methods, while seemingly old-fashioned, are highly effective and rooted in a blend of natural ingredients and practical, hands-on knowledge passed down through generations. If you are inspired by these egg preservation techniques, why not try one for yourself? It's a simple, meaningful way to reconnect with sustainable practices and live more self-sufficiently. Just by embracing these approaches, we can all learn a little more about resourcefulness and maybe even reduce our dependence on modern conveniences. And if you are curious about other traditional Amish ways, go watch this video where we explored how the Amish keep warm through winter without modern heating. You will discover creative methods for staying cozy using simple, natural resources. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into sustainable living and timeless traditions. After all, sometimes the old ways are the best.